Well, we're back here in the garage with a game that I've been waiting for a long time. I finally found one on eBay. Just so happens that there's actually another one on eBay right now, which is kind of crazy. I haven't seen one in almost a year, and now there's two of them that popped up in the last week on eBay. Anyways, this is the one I bought. I bought it because I got a good deal on it from the guy. I had sold him an NBA Jam, and I guess he resold it through his business. The Pinball Store is the name of his store. And he gave me a good deal on this. It has some issues that needed to be repaired that I figured I could do, which I think I can. Mainly the PCB. It works, but there's no sound. And I'm going to try to zoom in here. Right over here where the edge connector is, there's a burn mark. And I imagine that has something to do with the sound because all the ROMs check out green. The sound ROMs up here check out green. But there's no sound coming out of the board or out of the speakers. I've tested it in the cabinet and on my jammer rig here, and there's just no sound. It just makes like a humming, almost like when you try to do that 6-in-1 JAMA connector switcher, and you don't do the +5 or whatever it is for these midway boards. So I don't know if you can see, but there's like right here, there's some burnt residue, and there's something that's burned right here. So I'm going to shop it around, see if somebody can repair it. If not, I'll have to get a new PCB. Not the end of the world, but you know, these are about $115 to $120 a piece, so you know, not a cheap fix, but hopefully I can get it fixed for less than 30-40 bucks. So onto the cabinet. I pretty much went through this today and cleaned it all up and figured out what I need to do to it to get it back to its original condition. The marquee is cracked, you can see here. There's also a hole right here, so I'm just going to get a new dedicated translate marquee. Like I said before, I don't like the reproduction ones. I don't like the way they look when they're let up from behind, so I'm going to try to find a real one. There's a place that has a bunch of NOS parts, NOS, new old stock parts online that I know of. This sticker here is part of the cabinet, so I'm going to try to find a new one or reproduce that one so it's nice and bright yellow. It's got the instruction card, which is pretty nice and nice shape. I took all this off. It was just so dirty. It had cobwebs and dust and all kinds of crap behind here. So it looks really nice from the side and from the front now. You can really kind of get a gauge for the game when it's on. It's got this up here again, the schizophrenia or the seizure sticker up here, which is nice. The control panel, they must have taken this apart and put an overlay on this because you can see there's some wrinkling going on in here. So either they tried to fix this or somebody at some point in time did fix it and didn't do such a hot job, because you can see they cut it and you can see the metal all the way around the edges is showing. So whoever cut it did a shit-ass job and left, you know, 1/8 of an inch all the way around so you can see the metal underneath. Just badly cut, badly installed. All the screws and all the security stuff and everything on this game is rusted. All these here, all the ones up here, you can see them, they're all like a copper color. I have a bunch of these, but what I've been doing in these is I've just been buying paint, and I've just been rolling or gently painting all this to match, so the whole cabinet matches. This thing here, this little Z bracket that's up here, I took it off and repainted it because it was just, I mean, completely destroyed. And then this one here is, I tried to touch it up best as I can because this isn't in the original piece here, but it doesn't look too bad when it's in. The original one is like the Blitz one. It's kind of almost like an angled, it's not like this. It looks like, let's see if I have it over here. This one. It's a very subtle bend. So I believe that's the right one for this, but I don't know where to get this. So I just kind of fixed the one that's on here, and when it closes, it actually looks pretty nice. And those of you who don't know, I mean, you really wouldn't even know. It closes nice, it equals nice, it doesn't overlap anywhere. So I'm just going to keep it as is. That's fine for me. The front of the cabinet's kind of a mess. This front of the control panel, I'm going to need to really kind of work on that. Luckily, the art is intact and it's not damaged anywhere. But if you look at it from close, there's like, I don't know if it's overspray from something on here or just some dirt or whatever it is, but I haven't had time to clean it. And then the front of the cabinet's a mess as well. Everything works in here. When I got the game, for some reason, this here was down in the coin door. I took this whole mechanism apart. It was hanging down through here, and you can see all the wires are up here because it was hanging through. I'm just going to nice and neatly zip tie that and then incorporate it the way it's supposed to be. And I put the screw that I found on the bottom of the cabinet back over here for the menu test switch and the volume up and down. So I don't know what that was about, but I fixed that. These stickers that are on here I couldn't get off, so I sprayed them with some Goo Gone and letting them sit, so I'll be able to get those off. And then it had the typical security system with the 2 bolts over here that covered the entire door. I took those off. I'll fill those in with some wood putty or something else, and then I'll paint those black. All the T-molding on this game looks like shit. It's all black T-molding that's all hacked up, and it's guaranteed it's the original stuff from back in the day. So I have plenty of black T-molding. I'll replace that. All these bolts, like I said, everything that's metal in this game has rust on it. So I'll take all these out and either replace them or repaint them. The joysticks and the buttons, I think they replaced these buttons. They're in pretty nice shape. The joysticks I'm going to try to salvage. I'm going to take them off and just thoroughly clean them because they seem to have good, all the little micro connectors and everything are pretty clean. And you can see through here, I think they went through this and kind of cleaned it. But I went through and I vacuumed the entire cabinet. I don't know if they thought it was cleaned or not, but I mean, it was filthy, filthy dirty inside. So obviously nobody cleaned it, or they said they did and they didn't. So they obviously lied about that. But anyways, I cleaned it all, and I got to just wipe some stuff down, and I'll probably repaint all in here and just kind of keep it nice and neat. The other thing I need to do is the sides of this cabinet on both sides are kind of effed up. As you can see, there's some wood missing here. So something got damaged, either in, I don't think it was in shipping, because in the auction I saw it. So I'll have to work on that at some point. What I've been doing is filling them in and then masking off the midway. I've been doing that on the Killer Instincts and on some of the Mortal Kombat stuff, and it looks fantastic. So it looks like the integrity of the midway is pretty good, except for this area right here. So I should be able to touch it up with some red paint, but really I bought the cabinet for the cabinet itself. I really have only seen maybe 3 of these in my lifetime. Once at Arizona State University when I was playing games in the Memorial Union when I went to school there. And I believe I saw one somewhere here locally a long time ago at an arcade, and then it was gone. And then I've seen this one. So they're not very common. Like I said, there is another one on eBay right now. It's only like $5.50 or something like that. It ends in like under a minute from what I remember. So if somebody's looking for this game, there is one on eBay. However, it's in Rhode Island where I grew up, and to ship it clear across to Las Vegas would probably cost me $600 or $700. I got this shipped to my house for $450, including what I paid for the game, because I knew the guy and he owed me a little bit of a favor from some stuff I did on the NBA Jam. So I think I got a good deal on this game. It really doesn't matter how much it was or how much it isn't, because I really just wanted it for my collection, because they're very hard to come by. But you can see the artwork on this side is very, very clean. You know, just typical little nicks here and there. The back, the serial number sticker is missing, but there is the original one right there. I don't know if you can see in there. I just don't have a lot of room. The Neotech monitor looks to be the original one. All the original wiring harnesses and everything are in here. The power supply was toast. Luckily, I had one that fit in here. So when I got it, I put this in here, and the game booted right up. The monitor was a mess. It was just so dusty and nothing worked. And I got in there and I kind of fiddled around with some stuff, and now it looks beautiful. So luckily I won't have to spend any money on a cap kit or a rebuild of the monitor, which are usually the most expensive thing. And that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, I bought this game for the cabinet just because I want the game. So either I get this PCB repaired or I got to buy a new one. So there's maybe $120. I just emailed the place before I made the video here about the overlay and a dedicated marquee. And really, I mean, the rest of the stuff is just cosmetic stuff that I can clean up. This Lexan, I actually had somebody from the forum send me a dedicated Lexan from a Rampage, and I brought it to my shop, and now they have the mold for it. So I actually can just email them and tell them, hey, I need a Rampage Lexan, and it'll be absolutely identical, crystal clear and clean after I put everything back on. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'll probably make another video after I got everything completely done, just showing you the before and the after. But there's not a lot of effort that really needs to go into this as far as like you know, completely rebuilding something. It's just little cosmetic stuff like filling in holes, repainting, T-molding, just putting some new artwork on, you know, marquee, fixing the PCB and that kind of garbage. So maybe a couple of weeks I'll have this thing completely up and running. And hopefully I get the PCB repaired or get a new one by then. And then you can kind of see what I did in here. I brought the other Street Fighter 2 out here because these cabinets, like I said before, are huge. They're just so large that they don't really go in and out of the house very easily, and they take up a lot of room. They're beautiful looking cabinets. I mean, that's why I'm going to keep them, just because they're just, I like the blue. It's completely different than the Midway cabinets that I'm accustomed to, you know, like the Blitz and the Mortal Kombat's, Killer Instincts, and now the Rampages, because they're all exactly the same design, and I like those. But these are just so different, and these were 2 games that I played as a kid. So these are staying out here with the pinball machines. And then I'm going to put this NFL Blitz inside. I made some room for it today, and then I'm going to try to turn this Rampage that way and face it out here against the wall. And hopefully I'll have enough room to put another game over here if I ever decide to get something else. But it's getting kind of cluttered in here. I did sell my AC/DC pinball machine because I just never played it anymore, and I play the Metallica one. I think it's a little bit better in my opinion, but you know, everybody's opinions are different. So I don't really have a lot of room going on in here right now to kind of expand. I am going to talk to a contractor about bumping this wall out another 6 or 7 feet and trying to utilize this as an actual game room at some point in the future. I just don't know how much longer I'm going to be in this house. You know, the house is nice to live in, but there's some restrictions on what I can and cannot do via the association I live in. So we'll have to see what that happens. And then obviously if it's like, you know, a shitload of money, I'm not going to do it. But you can see the room constraints I have in here. You know, there's just not a lot of room to operate in here, and it's kind of frustrating when I want to do this stuff as a hobby and I just don't have the room. So that's where we stand. That's my garage game room. The other games are inside. You guys know what I have in there, the MK1 through 3, and then the Killer Instinct and the WrestleMania. So we'll go from there with the Rampage, and I'll let you know how it goes.